All right. I'm Buddy Ellick, and this is Marceau, and we're here to start a podcast. This is our very first podcast. This is sort of an intro podcast. This isn't like the main, like we're just going to go over like the format of this podcast and what we're going to be doing on this channel, and maybe we'll talk about some other things as well. Maybe go a little bit there, and so here we go.
Yeah, maybe we're gonna edit a few things because I'm
Yeah,
really not prepared for this.
yeah, that's the fun part. It's fun to just go in this, totally blind, see what happens. But so
Yeah,
here, I wrote out what the podcast format's going to be a little bit here.
awesome.
So this is a podcast about two friends just talking about video games. We're not making any money off of this. This is just about pure passion, the pure love for talking about video games. I just I just pushed my iPhone there a little bit. But anyways, yeah. So because did think about putting this on my regular channel, but then I was like, you know what? I don't want this in my regular YouTube channel that I have or I've been using in the past is a
Mhm.
monetized channel, and I'm like, I don't want to make money off Marceau, and our work together, So I thought it'd be cool just to build something together, just for fun, just for the heck of it. So, and yeah, so it's going to be in like three different segments. Segment one's going to be questions from the audience. So obviously, we're not getting questions from the audience so maybe the people will ask questions to the audience will ask the questions, on this here, so we can have that for next episode, which would be great.
Mhm.
So, and then segment two will be a piece of gaming news, but no drama. We're not going to be doing weird drama stuff. That stuff is so boring. Like everybody just wants to latch on to controversy, and that's not what we want to do our podcast on. We don't want to be like, oh, let's get lots of attention with controversy. This is purely about video games. I mean, there's a lot of I want to talk about, games are coming out is kind of interesting. Sure, I talk about something like that, like new Zelda coming out, of course. But yeah, I don't want to. Obviously, we're not going to focus on drama or anything like that. So just yeah, and then segment three will be
Mhm.
what have we been playing? What have we been playing? So we'll go over some games that we've been playing, and then we'll go on to like maybe the main topic, maybe one game that you and I both decided, last month or whatever, like, hey, this is the game we're going to play to talk about at the podcast. So, and then, and let's see what else. Yeah, and then we'll have our like outro and stuff, and yeah. So, you know what? So that's the format of the podcast. I mean, we could. Do you want to do a little bit of some of this stuff, kind of thing? Like, did you want to talk about? Piece of gaming news. Obviously, we can't do questions from the audience.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's been a lot of gaming news this past month. But like I was telling you earlier, I haven't been playing much modern gamings though these days, so it might be a little out of touch for the past few months. My last modern game I played was Super Mario Wonder on Nintendo Switch, so
Nice.
and that took me 3 months to complete. It's not a long game by any stretch. And well, while I'm mentioning it, I'm gonna say it's an excellent game, really, probably one of the best 2D Mario in my opinion. So I was really impressed by it.
Hmm.
I've played all the 2D Marios. I play more Sonic, but also love the Mario games.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. But other than that, yeah, I've only been playing retro games for the past few months. But I'm excited for what's coming on the Xbox mostly. Uh, PlayStation, Nintendo, not so much recently.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, uh, apart
Yeah.
from that,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, I'm trying to think what's some modern gaming news is. Oh, the Nintendo Direct. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I rarely ever watch these Nintendo Directs anymore
Oh
because
yeah.
because everybody talks about it on Twitter, and I get on Twitter and I can just figure out what's going on. But for whatever reason, I watched the latest one, and man, there was a lot of good like RPGs and stuff like that are coming out. What was that? There was like a one that was a game kind of interesting. It was called Farmagia or something like that, and it looks kind of like a game like Rune Factory Frontier or something like that, where it's a farming fighting RPG kind of thing. That looks pretty cool. And the game, of course, that really stuck out to me most was the new Zelda. and it looks just fantastic. Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, the original, is like my favorite Zelda game of all time. So when the remake came out, I was pretty hyped for that. That's one of
Hmm.
those you got to buy on day one for me. It's like I knew I had to buy that day one. And
Yeah.
this game actually is using the same engine. It's using the same engine as that, so it looks just like the Link's Awakening remake, but it's got a
Yeah.
big twist, and that is you're playing as Zelda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just awesome, you know. And it's funny too. I saw some people on social media who were like, "Oh man, this is the first time we ever get to play as Zelda." And then you got those one people who are like, "Well, actually, on the Zelda Philips CDI, there we could Wand of Gamelin, you could play as Zelda." And it's like, yeah, but real talk, that is not really a Zelda game. I mean, yes, they had the license to make it, but Nintendo did not make it. That's not Nintendo's Zelda. That's basically an
Hmm.
authorized fan fiction game in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
actually did make a fan fiction game like that too, based on the CDI version. It's like for the Game Boy or something,
I
and that's pretty
didn't know
cool.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
and
I.
this
Mhm.
new Zelda, I guess the twist is she's not like fighting in the same sense. Like it's not like she's carrying a sword like Link. I guess from what I can tell from the trailer, but she has a magical wand and it can actually like make
Yeah.
things, and you like acquire these things that can help you. And when
Yeah.
you beat a bad guy, you basically can take the bad guy and make the bad guy fight for you. I was like,
Yeah.
holy cow, that's wild, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So I got a lot to say on that reveal. So I think it's pretty cool that we can play as Zelda for once. They really missed the part. I saw somebody say that it should have been called Legend of Zelda: The Missing Link or something like that. They could have made a much funnier name, but no, that's cool. We can play as Zelda. I'm just me. So you mentioned the art style is the same as the Link's Awakening DX. Me,
But the
that's
remake,
where,
the
yeah,
DX version is like the Game Boy Color version. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
yeah, the remake, yes, yeah, DX. I played that on Game Boy Color back in
Yeah,
the day. I love that game. But so if it comes on Switch One, the problem is my one of my fears is the frame rate because the Link's Awakening remake, the frame rate was really poor. So I but the Switch 2 is coming, so I guess we can play it on the Switch 2. It's probably gonna be with better frame rate and all that. So
I'm
that's
sure.
cool. Um, the art style, though, I hope that the 2D games don't do the toy looking art style every time. Personally, I liked it for as a one-time shot for the remake of Link's Awakening,
Mhm.
but seeing that now they want to do it every time, even though it was cute once, I hope it doesn't stick like for the upcoming future always in this art style because I liked myself the pixelated versions of the 2D Zelda better than this. Although this is good too, but I preferred pixelated personally. Um, there's that. I'm also a little bit disappointed that she just seems to have to save Link, and she doesn't have like a better storyline than that. It's just like
Yeah,
the I think it could have been something more original than that. So that's also a little bit that also bothers me a little bit. And they seem to be reusing the map from A Link to the Past, if I'm not mistaken. So
maybe. Yeah,
it's
that's kind of hard to
yes,
tell.
yeah. This if you look at the map, it's the exact same map. So
Was it really? Okay. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I never liked Link to the Past, honestly. I like Link's Awakening, but don't like Link to the Past, which is kind of weird, I guess.
yeah,
I wouldn't mind if they use it if they do an Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons games. I wouldn't mind them continuing that art style, but I
yeah,
would hope they don't do it with like a Minish Cap remake or something. I think that would look awful. That'd be awful if they did that because I
yeah,
really love the style of Minish Cap actually.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I would also. It was funny too. Ever heard of the game All Was Awakening?
No,
It's on Evercade, but it's originally it's an NES game that was actually a demake of another game, the original All Was Awakening, which is on Steam. It's a game that's always like super cheap or whatever. It's the same publisher as Cathedral. So there's a bunch of indie games or whatever. Anyways, but somebody made the joke that, oh my gosh, Zelda copied the game mechanics of All Was Awakening, which is an 8-bit side-scrolling game, sure, but I kind of see like because the main character of Zoe like wears like a hood or whatever, like it's a purple hood, but not a blue hood. and then has a magic wand or whatever, and it can actually make objects out of thin air. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's too funny. But yeah, that game's on Evercade. I really enjoy it on there. I haven't. That's one of those games I bought like 4 or 5 times, honestly.
Yeah,
Someday I hope to
yeah,
complete it.
same.
Actually, it's just like too many games, too little time.
Yeah, yeah, same. The positive with me is when I start a game, I usually finish it before starting a new one, because otherwise, you're caught in the middle of 15 games and you never finish them. So
Yeah, it's kind of
I,
my problem.
yeah, I try not to do that. I'm usually good at not doing that, but yeah. But that's the thing. Yeah, most of the games these days, like the open, especially open world. Like I don't have time for that. Like I
Oh
really don't.
yeah,
Like it takes so long to complete one. And then if it's really well done, like Breath of the Wild, though, I really love Breath of the Wild. I put like 300, 400 hours in it.
my gosh.
Uh, yeah, I completed it, everything, 100% in it. But if it's like a Ubisoft type of collectathon, where you just have to collect things everywhere and it's
Yeah.
meaningless. I just don't care for it. Like I was disappointed with Halo Infinite about that as well. I'd rather have a linear story than open world. Uh,
Yeah,
so
it's probably a hot take, but I do not like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom.
many people don't.
But
Many
like,
people don't.
I loved Twilight. I never finished Twilight Princess. That's another one I gotta finish someday. But I loved what I played of that. I've played I played the GameCube version. I tried the Wii version. I couldn't get into it, but I love the Wii U version. The HD remaster, so good, and they made a lot of great improvements, I think, on it. And there's an extra dungeon, and yeah, it's like, and oh man, people were just so mad about the Nintendo Direct because Twilight Princess and Wind Waker aren't coming to Switch. And I made a video how many years ago that these games aren't coming to Switch. And then I made another one either last year or this year. It's like these games aren't coming to Switch, and it's like I can't believe these videos are actually holding up. It was such a shot in the dark. And my thought
Yeah,
was the reason is like, it's funny too. People are like, oh, well, those games are on the Wii U. They're trapped on an old system. And it's like the Nintendo Switch is 7 years old. If they come to the Nintendo Switch, technically speaking, they're trapped on an old system. Though you'll probably be able to play them on Switch too. But I was hoping, at least with Switch 2, I was hoping that there might be a second screen again, like Wii U, and that would make
yeah,
perfect sense to have a second screen. Because one of
yeah,
the things that was always a disappointment to a lot of Wii U fans who ordered pre-ordered Zelda U before it even had a name, like I did, was like
hmm
I thought it was going to utilize that second screen like it did with Wind Waker and of course later Twilight Princess. And Twilight Princess had such bad luck, the HD version, because it came out in 2016 on the Wii U. Basically the end of the Wii U era, and so
yeah,
only like a million people bought it. Whereas, like, yeah, the other ones, like, I think combined sold like 8 or 9 million. So,
yeah,
I mean, Twilight Princess is truly, not a lost piece of lost media. Okay, it exists in a lot of places. I mean, that whereas, yeah, like Wind Waker obviously didn't sell nearly as well. I mean, I think it sold like 4 million on the GameCube and like 2 million on the Wii U, or maybe I have those numbers backwards. I can't remember, but not a lot or whatever. So it's kind of I can understand that someone to see that come to Switch, especially that one. But yeah, it's Twilight Princess. Plenty of people have had a chance to play that on for generations, really. But
yeah,
yeah, I hope it comes to Switch too. Honestly, I think that makes the most sense, and especially with Nintendo's history of trying to purposely only have one Zelda game a year on the Switch would make a lot of sense. And 2025, I think, is when we're supposed to get the Switch 2, maybe.
yeah,
So yeah, I think it would just make. I would love to see those two games as launch titles. I'd pay $60 for both of them. Just because it's Zelda. It's like everybody has that thing. Everybody has like a thing that they just with you it's Sonic maybe, but like with me it's like Zelda, where it's like
yeah,
I gotta get that day one. I'm gonna play that right away, hopefully.
yeah. Well, I've been like that with most Zeldas. Wind Waker, I know I forgot on what I played it, but I played like half of it and didn't get the opportunity to finish the other half. I don't remember why. I loved it though, so I really want a re-release to be able to play through it. Twilight Princess that you mentioned, I played that on Wii. I played it to death, completed it. I love it. It's one of my favorite Zelda. Yeah, it's just it's great. The
Absolutely.
like the music and everything is just it's amazing. I did play for the first time also the other one that they released on Switch. Well, the remake. What was the name? Skyward Sword. Uh, that was good. It's still excellent, but not the best Zelda in my opinion. But still very good. And otherwise, yeah, I played the DS ones also. They don't re-release that. There were so many good ones on DS. They were
Yeah,
like Wind Waker.
the Wii U was the last place you could buy those DS games. Yeah.
Yeah,
And nobody bought it
Nintendo.
on there because the thing about the Wii U, it was like basically like a big Nintendo DS.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wii U. I never got a Wii U. I got the Wii, and then the Switch after a few years.
Oh man!
Um,
So this just Zoom just told me time is running out. Upgrade now. I'm like, crap! I did not realize that
oh
was
man,
that's
no,
crazy.
that we can switch to. Well, you can edit it, and we can switch to Twitch if you want. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I guess.
How can
Oh yeah,
that
9 minutes.
be? That's crazy. I didn't even not know that was a thing. I've done
You
Zoom
have to
calls
pay.
before. I wonder if the guys I did a podcast with before already had the upgraded one. Maybe that's why that could
So
be.
I did pay for Zoom for a while because I was doing a lot of stuff with it. Yeah, that's new. You didn't used to have to pay for this.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We-
What else do we have to say? I'm trying to think.
Yeah. Well, what was there the direct as well? Metroid Prime 4. I still have to play the first. I haven't played any Metroid Prime yet, so I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
play the
me neither.
remaster. Yeah. Uh, I just played Metroid 1 for the first time on Nintendo Switch Online the other day. Liked it, but I need to play the others.
Mhm.
And then I'm excited for the World Championship thing that they were gonna make with the speedrunning thing.
Yeah, I
Uh,
canceled my pre-order.
you did?
Yeah, my wife was kind of like, "Do we really need this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't. I'm probably not gonna play it. I don't know when I'm gonna have time. I have too many games to play." So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get it next time. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I still have time. I guess something could change, but I don't know.
It's gonna be half price digital anyway, so
Yeah.
um so there's that. The Super Mario Party with like 30 people online. That's gonna be cool, I think. Um Yeah, other than that, I mean, everybody seemed to love the direct.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, it's
like, uh,
popular.
yeah, but for me, there was, yes, I'll play the Zelda one, even though I kind of have mixed feelings, but I play all the Zelda, so I'm gonna play it for sure. But the rest, there was not
Yeah,
really anything for me in there.
it was focused more for like action RPG people. It seemed like that was the general what I could tell. It seemed like that's who it was focused on. There was a little bit of I think Switch Sports, but other than that, couldn't think of much. That was really all that
Yeah,
memorable. Yeah,
yeah, I don't understand why everybody was like so happy about it. Yeah, I
I was just
mean,
happy about Zelda. That's all
yeah.
I cared about.
Yeah, and most people would Metroid Prime 4, but yeah, if I'd played the three first ones, I'm sure I would be too, but I have not, so
Yeah,
yeah. I was more excited about Thousand Year Door. I'd like to play that very much. But
yeah,
again, they changed some things from the original, so I'm gonna play probably the original on Dolphin emulator.
yeah. Played on
Uh,
my hacked Wii. I could play it on
yeah,
that if I really
yeah,
wanted to. But
yeah.
yeah, I do that with some of my Zelda Four Swords Adventures. GameCube game. I don't put that in there. I like play it on my hacked Wii because it's an expensive game now. Like I don't want
Yeah.
it to be, degraded over time. But yeah, disc rot might get it anyways. But whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Otherwise, if we talk about the PlayStation, what's it called? PlayStation Showcase. I don't know if you watched that.
I didn't watch it at all. No.
That was a disaster of epic proportions. I still don't have a PS5, by the way. I don't know if you do have a
I don't.
PS5. I
I,
don't
I
think.
don't have a PS5. It's like this. They just haven't made anything where I'm like, I need a PS5. And everything just keeps coming to PC. So it's like, well, if I was gonna get it, I get it on that. It's just.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. And there's part of me that was waiting for a PS5 Pro, but I'm like, because right now I have a PS4 Pro, but I don't even think I'm gonna buy one. I'm just gonna buy them delayed on PC. I'm a huge Horizon fan. That's my problem, and a huge Death Stranding fan. So
mhm.
when the new Death Stranding comes, it's gonna be a timed exclusive on the PlayStation 5. When the new Horizon comes, same thing. So that's where I'm like, maybe I should buy one. But I, it's, let's be honest, I don't really need a PlayStation. Like
Yeah.
nobody needs a PlayStation. All these games, and nobody needs an Xbox either. Like you said, all these games come to PC.
Yeah,
So
and PlayStation just keeps shooting themselves in the foot because like so many games are like PS4 and PS5. So if you don't have a PS5, why wouldn't you just get the PS4 version? The PS4 version is always going to be cheaper. So many cheap PS4 games,
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
yeah, yeah. I did
Good
play
time.
Horizon Forbidden West on PS4. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't played the first one.
Or if that if you like the Zelda type of game,
I've heard that.
that's for me
I've heard
that's
it.
even
I've heard it's
better.
very Breath of the Wild like. So that kind of like I don't know. Seems like a big investment. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Like I don't know.
Uh, I wouldn't say Breath of the Wild but there's a lot of things to do. But everything, like all the lines of dialogue in there, all the cinematics, like for example, I watched RGT85 talk about that not long ago, because they're making a Lego game about it. And he's
Yeah.
like, well, the characters, there's no development for the characters and everything. It's the exact opposite. Horizon
Bruh.
Forbidden
They're
Horizon
like Legos. Who cares?
Yeah, for Legos, yeah, we don't care. But the in the Horizon franchise, like each character that you go to talk for quests and stuff, they talk to you for like 5 hours, and you can skip it, of course, if you don't care. But me, I care about the lore so much because the story for each character is so well done, so well written. Like I'm so much into this franchise. It's unbelievable. For me, it's they really did something wonderful. You have like a plot twist a lot as well in there. It's really well thought out. The story makes sense. So I really don't understand when he said that. I probably didn't play much of it, and
Yeah,
and
it's it's
that's another problem I have with some of the YouTubers
yeah.
that you played a game for 2 hours and you're like, oh, it's like this, it's like that, and they
Time to
don't
do a
even.
review. Time
Yeah,
to do a review after 2 hours. Yeah. I mean, and sometimes a
yeah,
first impression can be have as much weight as a real review, but but if it's a big long game, then no, it doesn't. Obviously, but
yeah.
yeah,
And then there's the other opposites, which I respect a lot. For example, I don't know if you know Arlo, the
yeah.
YouTuber R. He did a review of Breath of the Wild. It was 3 hours long.
That's
I think I've watched it
insane.
twice.
That's
But like
insane.
so he's, I think, maybe the biggest Nintendo YouTuber. But he waited like a year to make his review. So he probably didn't wouldn't have gotten he probably would have gotten more views if he had made it earlier, but he waited to really finish it, 100% it, take his time, and his review is unbelievable. It's the best review you can have.
Yeah,
But he took his time, didn't care that the game just came out. Whereas you have some other YouTubers, they release a review before the game even comes out. Like we saw that for Cyberpunk 2077,
oh yeah.
and they're
Those
like, oh,
reviews, it's terrible. Those reviews always become irrelevant with a game like that because
Yeah.
the games always get updates, so it's absolutely pointless in a lot of ways to review. It's like the review will never hold up, so I don't understand even doing reviews like that. It makes sense to do reviews for old video games because there's no updates, but why people do them now for like games you know are going to get patched, I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, they all did said because they were listening to their colleagues saying the game was great, but none of them had played it for more like than half hour, and then they released a review of it, but then they hadn't even played it. You know, I mean, they were just going from what they heard
It's all about
to
getting.
release their review on an embargo date. You know,
Yep, it's all about the
so
money. Yep,
yeah, yeah.
we got less than a minute.
Oh, I don't know what you're gonna say then. We close it out, or
Sure.
what do
I
we
mean,
do?
if we can before it's too late, but I don't know. I wonder if I could like start up again, or
Yeah, we can try.
if it locks me out for a day or something. But
I don't know. Otherwise, like I said, we can continue on Twitch on your channel. Nobody will.
yeah,
It will be pretty much like being offline if it's on your channel.
that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, less than 1 minute
your
still.
call.
Yeah. we just So this started out as a Zoom call and it turned into a Twitch stream. So that's
Yeah,
funny.
at least you don't have to
Yeah.
pay
So
here.
apparently,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. So we don't have to pay here. That's what's nice. Absolutely. Um,
you were
so
saying.
yeah, where were we? I think I had like a thing. Where was I? Like, oh yeah. So we talked about gaming news. Everybody missed that on Twitch. Sorry, guys. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. What have we been playing? I guess. I mean, what have you been playing lately?
I have been playing. Well, the last game I've been speedrunning was Retro Bros Desert of the Undead New Frontiers game, an indie game made by him alone. And yeah, I was honestly pretty impressed by how fun it is. I will say that the first time we played it, Alpha Nerd and myself, there were a ton of glitches though. It was really, really like it was broken, kind of pretty much broken. So it would crash half of the time when we would play it. But apparently, because the way he was playing it, it was never crashing for him. But if you did different strats, and you know everybody plays games differently,
Yeah.
then it crashes. But he's made a new version now with all the feedback we gave him, and now it seems
Awesome.
to be stable. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing is like with game testing, it's so
put
you
that on
definitely
screen.
have to always have somebody test these things. Yeah, it's so hard to It's like everyone wants to just test their own games and test themselves. But you really always have to. It seems like you always need other people to test it because it's so easy to miss something. Yeah, I still
Yeah,
haven't purchased it yet, but I do plan to. It's like they say, in chess, the pawns go first.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
I do actually want to check it out. Yeah, I saw you playing it a couple of times. It looks pretty cool. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think what I've
exactly.
been playing. I've been playing Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, um, which a lot of people, it has this reputation of being, baby's first RPG on the Super Nintendo. But honestly, it actually is surprisingly harder than I remember. I hadn't played it. I played it many, many years ago, like in the early 2000s, and there were certain things like, what's strange about the game is there's an option where you're like, so basically it's kind of like it's one party but it's multiple friends come in, like, so you start out as one guy and then you have another party member who is always super overpowered compared to you.
Yeah,
Well, if you put and you have the option to put your second party member on auto, which means the guy fights for himself and picks his own choices. In a lot of ways that makes the game even harder because a lot of times he picks the wrong choices of types of attacks and healing and stuff like that. So
yeah,
that actually made the game harder. Whereas, because sometimes I'm like, I know my character needs to be healed. Why isn't the second guy healing me? And it'll just something ridiculous, and it actually makes the game a lot harder. But and the sprites, look very. It's supposed to be on this Super Nintendo, but it looks kind of 8-bit ish. It looks like that cross between. It looks like it feels like early 16-bit almost, kind of thing. Yeah, it pretty fun. I've been playing it on my. I have this little emulation handheld device. It's called the R36S. It's kind of like it's a clone of a POW Kitty system, like it's a handheld kind of thing. It looks kind of like a Game Boy, but it's kind of impressive. Surprisingly, I spent like $40 on it, and it'll play some N64 games even pretty good, honestly. Because
Yeah.
I have an RG35XX, and my wife broke the screen on accident because she was taking some laundry down and didn't know that I just left it in the bed. And oh man, I actually think I paid more for that than I did this thing, and this thing is way better, But yeah, so that's the thing about these Chinese emulation devices. It's nice to just because sometimes I have a lot of games that are like I've bought on itch.io and stuff like Game Boy games and stuff like that I put on there, and it's nice just having a little device you can just pop these games because there's so many great homebrew and indie games out there, like the Retro Bros game and stuff, where it's like it's great to have just an easy way where you can play it and just put it in your pocket and play it,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Absolutely.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
so that's what I've been playing lately. That was the last game I've played most recently.
Hmm. Nice. Nice. Yeah. And before that, have you been playing any other modern games or anything like that?
Yeah, I've gotten a couple of different Final Fantasy games on PS4 that were pretty cheap. I don't know if I guess, would you call these modern if it's PS4? I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was playing. You were there that one time. I streamed Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy
Oh
Origin.
yeah.
That game is wild, honestly. See why it's M rated. Holy cow! But just it's it's just bonkers. Honestly, it feels like they incorporate some really modern things about it. Like there's like music from Linkin Park in there, I guess,
Yeah.
and but it has like sort of a that Final Fantasy style. And I tried out Final Fantasy 15. I got that for like $10 recently. I didn't get very far in that one, but that's one I might want to stream. I'm considering streaming that at some point, and might come back to Final Fantasy Origin again, but
Nice.
haven't. It's been. I'm trying to think of the last. Oh, I know what it's. As far as old games go, I uh, I played. I played Diddy Kong Racing for the first time in like 20 some
I love
years.
that game.
My son and Yeah, my son and I both played it, and this might come as kind of be a hot take, but we both hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just like I just was not feeling it, and maybe we played as the wrong characters, maybe we played under the wrong setting. I don't know, but and we tried different vehicles, like we tried like the hovercrafts, we tried doing airplanes, and it still kind of was like this game seemed pretty hard, honestly, compared to what I would have expected. And it just the controls just was like, man, I have a lot of nostalgia for Mario Kart 64. I used to be awesome at that game. I used to play the crap out of it. I was good at battle mode. I was very good at that game. But this game, I hadn't played it in a long, long time, and wow, I was just terrible at it. We were both terrible at it, honestly. So I don't know. But everybody says, "Oh, Diddy Kong Racing is better than Mario Kart 64," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, I haven't played Diddy
Well,
Kong Racing in a long time, so I don't know." But I have to disagree now after playing it.
but I think I mean I
What?
don't. I'd be curious to play it again. It's a game I would love to have on Nintendo Switch Online. But because I remember also from back in the day that when we played it back then, that it felt better. But maybe nowadays, maybe it doesn't. But back then, I think
Yeah.
was original that you could fly with airplanes and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Whereas now you can
Yeah.
do that also in some Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed and stuff where it's better. So
Yeah.
probably these days, probably it's not like we remember back then.
Oh
So
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that's the thing. There's a lot of games that you remember have such fond memories, and then you go back and you're like, "Oh man."
Yeah, pretty
And then there's
rough.
like sometimes the opposite. Sometimes like the opposite happens. Like a while back, I was back in was it November of last year. I did a video on Quest 64, and that's a game that I um Yeah, I didn't like it when I was a kid, and then I like gave it an honest shot, and I think I spent like 16 hours on it. And once I actually understood how the mechanics and how to play the game, I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty fun. It's very grind heavy. It's a I like to think of it as an 8-bit RPG with 64-bit graphics, because you know how 8-bit games are so grindy,
Yeah,
and you know such a simplistic story. But this game was really unique. And
yeah.
it's funny too. I've been watching Let's Plays of it again, and I'm watching these guys who are playing. It's called like Retrofit, I want to
Hmm.
say, and they're coming across like bad guys I don't even remember fighting against. So, and there's over 100 NPCs that actually have actual names and original dialogue. And I don't even think Zelda Ocarina of Time had that many, honestly. But it was a much smaller world. That's the thing about this game is Quest 64 is just so big. It was very grand and ambitious, and you feel like they wanted to do more, but they just never got to that point because they had to release it before Zelda came out to N64. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the Japanese version, I guess, had a little bit better ending, and they made the game more
Yeah.
like you didn't have to grind as much, I guess. But of course, it's in Japanese. So, and there's been actually a lot of like hacks and mods of the game or whatever, where there's like a hard mode one, and then there's one that has some quality of life changes and stuff. But these games, for whatever reason, you can't play them on like an emulator. You actually have to play them on like an EverDrive or something. But yeah, but that was really interesting to me. I really that was the last time I feel like I really just played a game from start to finish, and it's like where I'm just like I just like all in, super focused and invested. And my trick was I would play like I would just play like one section at a time, because if you just kept playing this, I can understand just getting sick of this game because the grinding can just be a bit much, especially if you're not used to grinding anymore. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I've. Those are, I guess, the games I can think of that I've been playing recently, and did try to play Quest 64 on that emulation device. It was something. It's like I just kept thinking I need a bigger screen. This isn't going to work for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I just play everything on my PC pretty much personally. It's like a 24-inch. Well, I got dual 24 inches. And
Nice.
then I got the gaming laptop to the side, and then a tiny, tiny TV there next to the laptop. So when I play on my Switch, I play on like a 15-inch LCD TV. It's literally like this big. But
Yeah.
it's nice because I got everything on my desk here, so super
Very
convenient.
nice.
Yeah, and I got also another
Okay.
table there where I have my Evercade, my analog Mega SG, and well the Switch dock that's there. And I want to plug a Master System to a RetroTink as well at some point, but haven't done that yet. Yeah.
I should do a live Twitch stream where I do a game room tour.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would
Absolutely.
work, but
Yeah.
oh man.
Yeah.
But I
Absolutely.
thought about so I did one last year, and it's like that's why I don't do game room tours, because they always become out of date. Like I did one last year, and it's like, wow, my room doesn't look anything like that anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you did a good job with your arcade there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that arcade cabinet I made. Yeah, it's fun. That was fun to make. Yeah, I just used like a sharp LCD TV, and it's one of those like early 2000s ones where it's still like 4:3. It's not widescreen,
Yeah.
which is great if you want to take pictures of the actual screen, because trying to take pictures of a CRT TV is a pain because they have those all those artifacts and stuff. It's
Yeah.
a problem.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I used an actual like this was basically a tool shelf I already had, and
Yeah.
it's great too because there's those holes in the back, so it allows it to breathe better. So that's kind of nice, and it's one of those nobody's gonna see the back anyways. I don't even know why I painted the back, but yeah, and of course I got an actual NES. It's powered by an actual NES, and yeah, it's something I was like anyone could make this, So I think you know what, make a video about it. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, this was pretty cool. Because it's one of my goals is to make my own arcade machine. I want a big LCD, marquee and everything. Uh, the Senua sticks, but all that standard. But then I want a mini PC that runs it with an 8 terabyte uh, drive with all the games or everything. And you see that to a lot of places. Like there is a gaming bar next to where I live. It's 5 minutes drive from where I am, and they have one of those, and you can play even Outrun Master System on there, or Outrun
Very
Arcade. Like
nice.
yeah, or any game you want. Even Wii games if you want. There's the entire
Oh wow.
library until there's an entire library until I'd say the up to the Wii U or something. That's on the 8 terabyte drive. So
Very nice.
yeah, there's companies that sell them for like 5 grand, but if you make it yourself, it costs nothing. So
Oh yeah,
uh,
it's so much cheaper to make your own. I mean, it's just knowing what you want to do and how you want to do it. And there's so many like plans online that you can just find for free. So that's kind of nice.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like there's an arcade about 25 minutes from here. And yeah, their outrun machine. It's a outrun machine. Of course, the screen looks like crap, honestly. And then the turtles, and it's got a turtles arcade too. Of course, the screen looks like crap. I can never win. At least the Simpsons arcade looks nice, but there's like 100 some arcades, and every time I go there, I swear the price goes up. I swear it used to be $10 a person. Then it was like $15 a person. Now it's $20 a person, and I'm like, you think they'd at least be able to fix the screens if they're going to charge more, right? I don't know. It's just expenses are going up or what, but
Yeah,
it was ridiculous.
that arcade at least that they have there with all the games, it's free. You buy a beer and you can play.
Yeah,
So that's cool because I mean I would
yeah. It's
spend
just like,
money on an outrun or something like that, but I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah, yeah. I'd love to get an outrun arcade. That'd be awesome. I think if I could just get one, only just get one arcade, I think I would probably get a Donkey Kong one.
Donkey Kong.
I feel like that's just, yeah, the original Donkey Kong. That's what I would
Yeah.
get. I
Hmm.
would. I've just always wanted one. It looks. It's just a game I know how to play,
Eh,
and I play when I know I can play through all the levels. At least once and see how
Yeah.
far I could get.
You want to try and beat Billy Mitchell, Donkey Kong?
I don't think I'll ever be that good, but just I don't know. Just to say, plus it would just be cool to just know you have one. Something because it's just iconic.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, any Nintendo arcade is iconic. I think I would really want an Outrunners if I could, or
Oh
Cool
yeah.
Riders as well. F1 Super Lab, but Outrunners I think is the. I saw one on eBay for three or 4 grand. I just don't have the space
That's
though.
crazy. Yeah.
Like I don't know if you know this. I own two arcade one ups, but they're in storage right now. I haven't unboxed them. Because where am I gonna put them? I don't have space for them.
Yeah.
So
I've seen those the Outrun arcade one ups, and I'm like, I'm like, oh, and I'm like, but then I see it's arcade one up, and I'm like, I don't know. Those are kind of rare too. Actually, you don't see those very often.
yeah, I got a NBA Jam one, and a TMNT, the first TMNT release that they made. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, I got those because I like them because they're 4 players ones. Uh,
Hmm.
if I have an arcade, I want a 4 player one, but yeah. I mean they're still in the box, so uh,
Very nice.
yeah. Well, yeah. Did you have anything else on the list to talk about, or we go through everything?
Uh, nope, just the outro. That was the last thing on the list. So
uh,
yeah,
yeah.
think of anything
Otherwise,
else. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna do this. This is gonna be a monthly podcast.
Yeah.
Um,
Keep some for
yep.
next time.
Yep. There's no like set day we're doing it. You just know it'll be for each month. That's
Yeah. When we can free ourselves, and we're just gonna
Yep.
do it.
Yep. We're
Yeah,
just doing this
absolutely,
for fun. Yep. So,
exactly. Pretty cool.
all right.
Well, I'm glad that we at least we tested. Now we know that Zoom will cut you off after a few minutes, and we know
Yeah.
Steam looks to be working. You'll have to check it out after, but it seems to be good.
Yep. I'll
So
do that when I edit it. Yep.
yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, thank you for inviting me to your podcast and for joining me on Twitch.
Yep. It's our podcast now,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Our podcast.
All right.
But you had
Yep.
the idea. You had the idea of it. You didn't come up
Yeah.
with the idea.
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of one of those things we talked about a few times, and I was like, let's actually do this. So,
Yeah.
all right.
We finally
Let's,
did. Yeah.
yep.
But I had so much backlog that I wanted to go through with my speedruns. I'm like, I just don't have time right now. And now
Totally understand.
I'm finally starting to get through what I wanted, the most urgent.
Yep.
So that's
Absolutely.
nice. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I'll let you go tend to your family. I know that they're
Yep.
it's getting late, so.
Yeah. I'm surprised they're quiet. This is shocking. All right,
Oh,
man. Take
yeah,
care. Yep. We'll see y'all next time.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
See you next time, and remember to master your systems. Bye, guys,
Yep.
and bye, my friends. See you next
Stay
time.
awesome.
Yeah.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. And it says stream together and everything. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool. Are we live on your
Streaming with
channel? That's a
Yeah.
question. Streamer the cat.
We're streaming with a cat. I found a cat to stream with. It's 3 people on this channel now. All right, Lucy, run along now.
Amazing.